Ladies and gentlemen, this evening's performance of
The Diz Explorers
will begin in 2 minutes. Excellent
listening
locations are still available all around Showcase Promenade. Due to the use of
alcohol and opinions.
around the lagoon, for your safety, we request that you remain on the promenade side of all railings. During the show, please watch your step and take small children firmly by the hand. Once again, this evening's performance of
The Diz Explorers
will begin in just 2 minutes. Thank you.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Diz Explorers podcast, where each week we explore the different avenues of the great Disney universe. And speaking of universes, Milford is fresh back from his cruise, which really has nothing to do with being in a universe, but it was a Marvel, Star Wars, both.
Star Wars.
Star Wars. So
Star Wars Day at Sea.
Disregard everything I said about where Milford was on the last podcast because I was completely wrong. Because I had him at a 3-day like Marvel something or other, and
it's because I wasn't there.
that's right. Well, my fault for not knowing where the hell my people are, but still.
Exactly.
Anyway, he was on a
Remember that.
7-day cruise on the Fantasy for Star Wars Day at Sea. So before I screw anything else up, I'm going to stop talking and let Milford give a recap of his experience because as we knew, and I think I did mention this and get it right, this was something he booked kind of last minute, which is probably one of the perks of being a travel agent. I would imagine. I don't know. I'm going to let him tell the story and shut up now.
Yeah, it definitely is one of the perks of being a travel agent because sometimes you can find travel agent available rates that allow you to book very cheaply for a travel agent and get some experience with the product. So that's why they do it.
because you have no experience with a cruise. Sorry.
Yeah, well, I know. This was only 17 for me, so, hey. And the 17 on Disney. I haven't done anybody else. So, that didn't sound right. Never mind. Anyway, this whole escapade started about 3 weeks ago. Friends of mine were trying to get us to go on the 3-day cruise over Super Bowl weekend, and we were holding out for a travel agent available rate for that cruise, which went out on the second, which was last Friday, a week ago Friday. The available rate came and went, didn't show up, but they had availability rates for the 3rd on Saturday for a 7-day. Needless to say, I was able to book an inside stateroom for that for cheaper than cash room to the public would have been on the 3-day. So
Wow.
Do your math there. That's a good return on investment.
Yeah, I'd say.
So my trip started out last Friday, climbing in the car at 1 a.m. Friday morning to start the trek to Florida because I had a game plan in mind. I wanted to get down and ride a few rides since I have an annual pass and visit the new restaurant at Disney Springs, Enzo's Hideaway.
What? You went there instead of...
I'll talk about it. I went there on Friday night. Yeah, I know. I went there to try it out. Probably should have went to STK or someplace else.
Or Edison.
I knew it was Edison. Yeah. Well, I was trying to do this on the cheap.
Gotcha.
So
no, I hear you.
I figured...
You picked the right place.
I figured I'd try this place out and see. Well, no, it wasn't cheap. I will tell you that. And I'll post the pictures from my dinner.
Okay.
So I get seated, and I'm sitting at the communal table. So in the bar, they have this big long table that anybody can just sit down at and order dinner.
Gotcha.
So I sit down, waiter comes over, and I say, yeah, I'd like gives me the menu, and I'm like, cool, they have Basil Hayden. Bourbon. I'll take a Basil Hayden, neat. Didn't think anything else about it. I said, I'll figure out what I want to eat while you're getting that. Comes back 5 minutes later and asks me if I'd like ice in it.
Are you kidding me? He doesn't
No,
understand
I'm
what
not kidding you.
Well, I would have got up and walked out.
Apparently does not.
I would have got up and walked
So
right out
that was
there.
a turnoff from the start. So not a whole lot of things on the menu, and I have pictures I'll post as well. But I decided to order the lasagna. And don't get me wrong, the lasagna was outstanding. It was good flavor. The pasta was cooked right. The meat was flavored correctly.
Nice.
But I got this little dish that was 4 inches by 4 inches and an inch deep for $24.
Oh my.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money for
Yeah,
lasagna.
oh my. Yeah. So, needless to say, I did not order dessert. I walked around the restaurant, took some pictures, and then took off because at that point, it was already 10:30, and I wanted to get back to the hotel, which we stayed at the boardwalk for the first time,
Nice.
even though it was only for one night,
It's all right.
in a regular room. It was nice. It was looking out over the boardwalk, kind of, more like that little courtyard area.
Right. So you
But
were
that was
on
cool.
the. So you weren't in the DVC side. You were in the
I was in
boardwalk
the
in.
public side.
Right.
Yes.
To the
Because I had
left.
to book on cash because there were no DVC rooms available.
Yeah. I think they're very similar, the rooms and stuff, but you still can experience the whole hotel. So
Yeah.
nice.
So I drove down by myself because my wife can only get 5 days off and she had to work on Friday. So I actually flew her down Friday night and she finally got to the room about 2:30 in the morning. And needless to say, I was out like a light. So she slept. We both slept. We got up the next morning and we trudged for port on Saturday morning. Pretty uneventful. So we're driving across the bridge at Merritt Island. And my Jeep Compass starts to make this loud screeching noise that I swear to God, it sounded like metal on metal. So we went to Publix to pick up a couple things we needed for the cruise. And I said, well, I told my wife, I found a Jeep dealership. Let's just drive it over there and see if they can fix it while we're gone. So I drive over there. Guys are super nice. And now I can't think of the name of the dealership. But anyway, the guys in Cocoa, Florida, there on Merritt Island.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I think that's Cape Canaveral. I get those two confused. Anyway, they said, no, let one of the mechanics go take a ride with you. I didn't even make it out of the parking lot. He said, yep, I know exactly what it is. Just let us have it for the week and I'll fix it.
Nice.
Cool. So I called for a lift to get me over there because they don't have a shuttle service on Saturdays.
Okay.
So Lyft picks us up, takes us over there. We get checked in. We're already running late. It's already like 2 o'clock, and we have to be on the boat like 3:30, or we don't get to go.
Right.
So we got on, checked in, went straight to our room because we wanted to drop a bunch of crap off. Went and ate, and we went up to Cabanas and ate. And it's pretty much the standard fare of food that they have. Melanie can agree with that. It's the same buffet they have pretty much every day.
I avoid cabanas.
I think
You
I'm
did.
going to start doing it too because we did cabanas every morning for breakfast and it was the same food every
Oh yeah,
day.
no, you got to go to Royal Court for breakfast, or even Enchanted.
Well, they only
But
had Enchanted open one day.
Oh
Enchanted
really?
was only open on Star Wars Day. That was the only day it was open. Yeah,
Ah,
sadly.
things are changing. Okay.
The times they are
Mhm.
changing.
So our itinerary from my cruise highlights navigator was as follows. Saturday, obviously, we were in Port Canaveral. Sunday, we were a day at sea, which was also formal night. Monday, we were in Cozumel, which was pirate or cruise casual. So if you notice, Melanie, they moved up pirate night one night.
was about to say,
Tuesday
that
was
seems early.
Georgetown, Grand Cayman. Wednesday was Falmouth, Jamaica. Thursday was Star Wars Day at Sea. And Friday was Castaway Cay, of course.
Nice.
So, I went upstairs for we went to the muster drill, first of all. Everybody has to do a muster drill at 4 o'clock. So you get to go stand out on the deck or sit in a theater and watch all these people, show you how to put on a life vest and all that kind of stuff. At least, thankfully, you don't have to take life vests with you to the muster drill anymore. Thank God.
I know, right?
Yeah, because that many people with life vests trying to get back in an elevator to go to their room is... Yeah.
I would have...
Anyway.
It'd be like a cartoon.
Like a clown car.
So my wife wanted
Pretty
to go
much.
Yeah. So my wife, Sean, she wanted to go up and sign up for the rainforest and the spa, so she went and did that while I went up and partaked in the sail away party. As we're partaking in the sailing away party, it starts to pour down rain.
Nice.
And and that day was very windy in Port Canaveral. I bet it was, if it wasn't 45-mile-an-hour winds, I'd be surprised.
Wow.
Needless to say, he was obviously in a hurry to getting out of port because he didn't even wait till they got to that part of the show before they actually sailed. We were already at the end of the canal when they made the announcement that we're sailing away, and they blew the horn. Yeah.
He was getting out of there.
Yeah, we're already
Who was your
sailing.
captain?
We're just now talking about it.
you remember your
Commodore
captain?
Tom.
Oh, I like Commodore Tom, though. He's good.
Yeah, he's now a Commodore now, not just a captain, because he's been around
Very
so
nice.
long.
I've sailed with him a couple of times.
At least he didn't back the ship into anything.
A good thing.
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
So,
and who was your cruise director?
Sunday, Trent.
Okay, I haven't had him yet. Okay.
He's new, from what I understand.
Okay.
He's new, and 2 or 3 people have quit. I had a nice talk with. I'll get into that in a minute.
Yeah, go for it.
'Cause that
Continue. Carry on.
Gets into
We'll
my
get there
whole
next.
Cove Cafe thing. So that was pretty much Sunday. I mean, we hung out up on deck and had some beers, and our favorite place to hang out is up at the deck 13 with the currents, and get my mug of beer that I paid for 6 years ago. Oh,
Exactly.
yeah. So there were lots of activities going on the boat that night. Character appearances from the usual crew: Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse. They had Cinderella and Princess Tiana, Goofy, which I have a picture of Goofy.
Nice.
Daisy Duck, Pluto, Donald Duck, and Chip and Dale.
Cool.
So those were the characters that day.
Now, the characters are all decked out in like nautical type, or are they just in their standard?
Yeah, these characters were all a nautical type except for Cinderella and Princess Tiana.
Okay.
They're obviously in their dress movies. So
Right. All the little girls would go crazy if they weren't, I think.
we had dinner Monday night, and our first night on the ship was in Royal Court. So it was the standard fare meal that's every first day of the cruise. So for those of you that don't know, each of the 3 restaurants for 3 nights on a 7-day cruise have their fare that's specific to their restaurant. So for Royal Court, it's a pretty much French. For Animator's Palate, you have to help me out here, Melanie, because I think it's Italian. We didn't go to dinner that night.
I think it's more
Which was Sunday
Americana,
night.
kind of.
It's probably
I don't
more
remember.
Americana. You're right,
I
don't
think
remember
it's
on
specifically
Enchanted
Italian, but
because we didn't eat Enchanted the normal night either. So, but I'll get into that in a minute. So
yeah, the only thing about Enchanted is that avocado ahi tuna tower thing. I just get multiples of that.
Oh yeah, that I do like. That I do like. Yeah,
That
That is
sounds
that and the
good.
French
best.
onion soup.
I order 2 or 3 of those. No
I always
shame.
No shame.
No shame.
Nope.
No shame.
That's
I
main
would
course
order the
worthy.
French onion soup if it wouldn't
Ooh,
make me sick.
yes.
I love
Ooh.
French onion soup.
It's all good.
So Sunday was that pretty much wraps up Saturday. Nothing uneventful other than our little bit of car problems and getting to the ship. I will tell you, 2 hours after we got on the ship, the dealership called me and said, "Oh, hey, we fixed your car." Really? That fast? So there was a rock between the caliper hangers and the rotor plate.
Oh, nice. That'll do it.
Not on the face of it, but on the edge, on the outside edge of the rotor.
Yep.
He said it probably would have ground down to nothing after you drove it long enough, but it's probably not good to take that chance.
No. And you have to listen to that annoying sound.
Good thing we got it fixed. Yeah, and it's my company car anyway, so who cares? And they saved me $140 parking.
Oh, there you go. That's right.
All I had to do was pay for the lift, which I'm going to turn into work because my car broke down.
Hey, there you go.
Anyway, so we'll move on to Sunday. Sunday was formal night, which interesting day since it's Super Bowl day, and they made that formal night. Got up, went down. I go down every day on the ship. When I'm on the ship, I'll get into that in a minute. I get up every day when I'm on the ship, and I go down on deck 4, and I run. Try to get 2 miles in, because 5 times around the 4th deck is 2 miles. Then I go up to the spa, and I use the weights in the gym. And then I go use the shower in the locker room. Mm-hmm. There's a reason for that, because I'm a bigger guy, and the shower in the room is very tiny. And
it is.
To boot, we were in an
especially those inside rooms.
Well, yeah, we were in a standard, which didn't have the double bathroom. So Sean and I trying to get ready at the same time is like a nightmare. So little pro tip, if you don't mind going to the gym and using the public shower in the men's locker room, there are nice full-size showers in the men's locker room in the gym. So,
okay,
just so you all know.
Good to know.
And they provide shampoo, conditioner, and body soap in the shower. Perfect. Towels, razors, you name it. So, and lockers they'll lock. It's actually pretty nice. Anyway, so on with Sunday. As I said, this is a day at sea. Temperature that day was about somewhere in the 80s. I never did get exact temperatures on the days because, none of my tech works on the boat. Because I refuse to pay for the data plan on the boat. It's just too expensive. $89 for 1 gig of data.
Wow, that's like full.
Just seems a little exorbitant.
Yeah, just a little bit. Well, I guess it forces you to, actually enjoy the vacation and not be screwing around on your phone all the time. Yeah.
So, I will mention, on Sail Away Day, we did do the DVC meeting that we always go to because we like to see if we can win $200.
Yeah.
We didn't win. But it's free alcohol and sometimes free food and sometimes free hats. And I like that. Anyway, Sunday. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I like all of that stuff. So I would have been there too.
Yeah. Sunday was pretty much the standard Navigator schedule. We had movies going on. Now, the one thing different about this cruise is that they were showing all of the Star Wars movies different days of the weeks in the Buena Vista Theater. So this particular day, for some reason, was Star Wars Episode 2. Now let me go back and look at Sail Away Day, because that might have actually been
so you could.
That's the worst one.
I was gonna say, so you could skip that mess.
Oh my gosh. We watched that over
Christmas. I think it was episode.
It was awful.
It was episode 1 on Sail Away Day.
Oh, because they know nobody.
Menace.
They know. Oh, Phantom Menace. Yeah. Oh, Phantom Menace. I thought.
Oh, I know. No, the first one, not episode 1, not the first one. Episode 4 was the first one.
Okay. No, I thought you said
not New Hope. But
I thought you said the
Phantom
second.
Menace.
I thought you said the second one, Attack of the Clones.
Like episode. Oh yeah, Clone one. Yeah.
The Clone one.
Yes,
is horrible.
That's what it was. Attack of the Clones.
Oh no.
It was on Sunday.
Oh, that's terrible.
That's awful. I'm sorry.
That's a hard pass.
So the movies on the boat that day were Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, nice.
I still didn't get to go see.
Oh man, I
Oh,
haven't seen
dang.
it.
still didn't get it.
I haven't seen that
They
yet.
showed Guardians of the Galaxy. They
Perfect.
showed Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. And that was it for that day. Of course, that day was the Aladdin musical in the Walt Disney Theater. So we went to that. I always loved that show. Funny story. You know how the genie cuts up and tells jokes and
Right.
all that stuff in the show. So he says, so at this one point where it's his time to exit the stage, he says, I'm going to the Super Bowl. So we all know the Super Bowl started like 45 minutes ago at this point. So he enters for his entrance again at another point in the show and says, I'm back from the Super Bowl. Eagles 9, Patriots 3. The whole crowd starts cheering. And he says, somehow I feel like my Patriot fans feel a little deflated at the moment. Anyway, that was the kind of
Yeah,
joke he was.
exactly. Yeah.
Oh, that
we
was
also
genius.
had that day the ventriloquism of Lynn Tresker. Tresker. She's the typical ventriloquist that's been on the boat several times. Other than that, nothing really significant that day, other than the absence on formal night in the dining rooms. I don't know what genius made the decision that formal night was going to be on Sunday night of the Super Bowl, because
Yeah, how'd that turn
everybody
out?
was either in.
Yeah.
Yeah, not too well, because there was when we talked to our waiters, they said, "Oh yeah, there was hardly anybody in the dining rooms, either rotation.
I believe it.
They fixed way too much food."
Bars were probably packed. The clubs or whatever, I mean.
Or
So-
the pool deck.
So the
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure the bar had lots of food that night for the crew. So I have pictures of the of the pool deck. Completely, every chair has a butt in it. I mean, every
Right.
chair on the pool deck was
I can imagine.
Patriots, Eagles jerseys. I didn't get a picture in the Darby O'Gills, but I hear it was packed. We
I'm
actually
sure.
sat at the bar. We actually sat at the bar up on deck 13 and watched it. They actually piped the sound in.
Oh,
Now
nice.
here's where I'll go with the other genius move, and I don't know that they could have done anything about this because it was a ESPN international feed that we were
Right.
getting the football game from.
Oh, okay.
So as you can guess, you can probably guess what that meant.
You weren't listening to it in English.
We didn't get any. No, we had the football game, the actual broadcasters.
Oh,
You
okay.
didn't
Got
get the good
halftime.
commercials.
We didn't get any of the commercials. They were all ESPN international commercials.
You didn't miss anything. You missed absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I did. I missed the solo trailer.
Oh, other than that, but
Which-
that was it.
I'll
And
get into that when I talk about Thursday, but
they only showed it once.
I had no idea it even dropped
Yeah.
until I asked my question on Thursday in this presentation. So we'll get there. I'm giving things away, dang it. So that night I also did was that the night? No, Sunday night was not the night. Monday night was the night. I'll get into that in a second. I did lots of tastings on this cruise. I got a little bit out of my comfort zone.
Nice.
So
Anything exotic?
yeah, I'll talk about it here in a minute because we're going to go into Monday, which was Cozumel Day. And this was pirate or cruise casual because this was actually pirate night a day early.
Yay.
Yeah.
Typically, they do on Tuesday night, from what I understand. They do it on the night that they're in Grand Cayman. Or
That makes sense.
Eastern Caribbean, I think it's the night they're in St. Thomas.
That's where the rum's at.
It's where the rum's at. Yep.
It is.
And, that day had pretty much the same fare. More Star Wars movies being shown. Lots of Disney films on Funnel Vision. Toy Story 2, Mulan, Pinocchio, Tinkerbell, Muppet Treasure Island, which I thought was kind of
nice.
cool. Because I love Muppet Treasure Island.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I will tell you the interesting characters that came out that day.
You mean
Pinocchio and Geppetto
Ooh.
came out for pictures.
What?
I have never seen Pinocchio or Geppetto even in the park, let alone
Yeah.
on a Disney cruise.
I have. My daughter got a
That's
picture
cool.
with them a couple years ago. Yeah, very extremely rare. It was like a weird thing. He was hanging out
Was
by
it
like the hat shop.
So was it a
cool.
scheduled thing on the personal navigator, or were they just roaming around unscheduled?
No, they were roaming around unscheduled.
Wow.
Nice.
Not on the navigator.
I like that.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
that's what I thought too. You know, we'll always see Hook and Smee on Pirate Day. We'll always see
Mhm.
Jack Sparrow. But Geppetto and Pinocchio.
Yeah.
Really?
Doesn't even fit, but who cares? That's
Exactly.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not my favorite
We also got-
movie, but
Yeah.
it's still cool to
Yeah.
see him out.
So we also got Stitch that day. Of course, we
Yay.
got Jack Sparrow, and the guy they had playing Jack Sparrow. Oh my God, not that dead knockoff for Johnny Depp. I mean, he
Nice.
had all the drunken movements, the sway, the swagger. Or, you know,
Perfect.
yeah, just amazing. I don't know where they find these guys, or how they train them,
Yeah.
but it was pretty interesting. So the other interesting part about Pirates Night is they didn't have it at 10:15. Buccaneer Blast and Club Pirate was at 7:30 and 8 o'clock
What?
on Monday night. Yeah, they did it
Is it
early.
a
but
weather
they did
thing?
do
A
fireworks.
winter thing?
No, it was because of the Star Wars week. Star Wars Day at Sea. That's the only reason they gave us. Which, you know, when you do it at 7:30, most people aren't out at 6:15 dinner by then.
Right.
And probably aren't going to stick around for Club Pirate from 8 to 8:30 because they might have dinner or they plan on going to a show. Of course, there really wasn't a show that night. What was a show that night?
I don't know.
Whatever it
Might have
was,
been a
we
movie.
skipped it.
Might have just been a movie,
No,
a first
no.
run.
They don't even have the Walt Disney Theater on here, so I bet there was nothing that night because of that.
It wasn't First Jedi or anything like that? Or Last Jedi?
No, that was in the movie theater. They had, actually, they showed Pirates of the Caribbean movies all day in the movie theater.
Makes
They
sense.
showed all,
On Pirate Night?
but then they didn't show the movie after Pirate Night. Yeah,
Odd.
yeah, it was odd. It was very odd.
Blame the new guy.
So that's
Yeah, for real.
pretty much-
Trent,
oh,
come on, Trent.
I guess
We have
I
faith
could
in you.
talk about Cozumel. I guess I could talk about Cozumel for a little bit.
Did you have
We
any
did
port adventures?
we did
or
venture out in. No, because we booked this so late, we didn't get a chance to book anything because they were all sold out.
Ah,
I did hear people complain about the Mayan ruins excursion because it was so long. Because you actually take an hour boat ride to the mainland, and then a 2-hour bus ride.
Oh, wow.
ew.
to the-
Isn't that in the
to
description?
Mayan temple.
Yeah, you would think so.
It is in the description. And
Well, then they get what
but I
they
don't
get.
think people read those descriptions.
Clearly not.
And
then.
then so you're there for 3 hours, and then it's a 2-hour bus ride back and an hour back to the dock.
Oh, F that.
So it's a full 8 or 9 hour expedition.
Ooh,
Ugh.
that's a lot of time on a boat.
Or excuse me.
That's a lot of time you're missing sitting on the boat having drinks.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
What'd you
I'd
do
rather
in Cozumel?
I'd rather sit on the boat in the pool and enjoy myself.
Hell yeah.
We just kind of walked around. We did sit down at Was that Margaritaville? No, that was Hooters. 'Cause we didn't walk far enough the other direction to get to Margaritaville.
They have free Wi-Fi.
So
there,
we sat
man.
down at the Hooters and had a drink, and the Wi-Fi in Hooters sucked.
Of course it did.
Well, it's free.
Now, what I found out, what I didn't know was, or what I did know before we went on the cruise, Cozumel is domestic for me for Verizon. So
Really?
anybody that's cruising on the Fantasy East or Western Caribbean and you're going to Cozumel and you have Verizon for service, Cozumel is a domestic phone call, Cozumel is domestic for text, and Cozumel is domestic for data.
Wow.
So it doesn't cost you a dime extra.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it confirmed that when I turned my phone on. You know, I was a little nervous. Like, I'm going to turn this on. Am I going to, what charges am I going to incur?
Well,
Checked when I got home. No,
Shouldn't have any charges for
Was
just turning
fine.
it on.
Yeah, no, well, the minute you start receiving data.
Oh, I guess, yeah, all the stuff's coming in from it being off for however many days. Yeah.
Exactly.
Unless
Exactly.
it'd be nice if there was a way started up in like airplane mode.
Going on Western Caribbean to Cozumel and you have Verizon, you're good. You don't have to sign up for anything extra. You can, for Grand Cayman and Falmouth, Jamaica, sign up for a $10 per day plan that gives you unlimited talk, text, and data for that day.
Right.
I did not sign up. We only used it on Cozumel Day because Sean wanted to call her mom to see how things were going because she's getting out of her rehab this week, hopefully.
Right.
So, so we did Hooters. We walked around some places there. You know, it's like Nassau. Everybody's stopping you, trying to get you to come in their store.
Yeah, I remember that.
We even got to one point where the policia was telling this guy to quit bugging the people coming from the boat. That got pretty interesting.
That's
so
funny.
I walked into a couple tequila places and had some tequila tasting since they were free. Found a really good tequila place that if I go on a cruise next time, I'm going to actually buy some. I made the mistake of going to the island with no cash, or maybe that was intentional. I don't know.
Yeah.
So we went back to the boat, you know, and watched the Super Bowl, and that was pretty much it.
Cool.
Oh no, I'm sorry, that was Monday. Never mind. That was Monday, right? Yeah, that was Monday. Forget that part about the Super Bowl. That was the day before. So we'll go to Tuesday, which was Grand Cayman Day.
Yay.
Very interesting port. I learned a lot of stuff at Grand Cayman. So it's a typical day, movies on the funnel vision, pretty much all Disney movies all day. Aladdin, they showed Descendants 2, Princess and the Frog, Monsters Inc., Snow White and Seven Dwarfs, Pocahontas, The Incredibles, Enchanted. The theater had Moana and Coco. And
nice.
Remind me to tell you guys about a mug that they had in the cafe, and they were out of them. Otherwise, I would have bought you guys one. Thor Ragnarok in 3D again. So every day after I got done with my run and showering in the gym, I would go to the Cove Cafe and get basically a press pot of tea made because I like my chai tea. They had these mugs, and they were called cocoa mugs, like hot chocolate and cocoa mugs, but they were decorated up like Coco the movie.
Oh, cool.
And he had them out. They were $12. I'm like, well, I want 3 of those. He's like, we're out of them.
Oh.
I'm like, then why do you have them out on the counter?
Yeah, I know.
Because I was going to bring back one for all of you, and then I was going to bring back one that we could raffle off.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That didn't work out, sadly. So he has my name and my number. If they come back in, he's going to figure out how he can sell them to me and ship them to me.
Oh, nice.
So,
okay.
Sure, it's probably going to be he's going to walk off the boat with 5 of them.
Yeah,
and probably
exactly.
I'm going to PayPal him, and he's going to ship them to me.
Exactly. I would say that's
Anyway.
probably a safe assumption.
You know, pretty much every day had the normal things going on, crafts, and they had craft class, 3D crafts in O'Gill's, movie quotes trivia, which I didn't go to any of this stuff because we just kind of went up on the deck and vegged out and we'd come back from the island. But the one thing I learned in Grand Cayman, if you're on a Disney cruise, you can't buy alcohol.
No?
You can buy alcohol to drink, but you can buy alcohol to take back to the ship. Because they don't have an agreement with Disney, and Disney requires it to be sent back to the ship. So, for example, the next day when we're in Jamaica, when you hit the port to come back to the ship, they're actually collecting your alcohol out in the port building.
Right.
And putting it in boxes to take back to the
That's
ship.
got to be new
But you're
because
not-
we went on a Western Caribbean 5-night where Grand Cayman was our only stop, so other than Castaway. So I know I'm not mixing it up. And we came home with coconut rum and spiced rum and stuff.
Okay, there's one trick to it. You have to buy it in the duty-free store before you leave the port area.
Maybe
So you
that's
can't
where
buy
we
it out
were.
on a shop on the street. You have to buy
Yeah,
it
we might have
the,
been in that
the
area. I'm not sure.
duty-free area inside the port.
So that's the only one that you can bring alcohol. Okay.
I
Did
remember.
you find that out after you
Yeah, that's
bought
the only
alcohol?
way you can bring alcohol. Or the only way you can buy alcohol back.
Did you have to guzzle something before you got back on the ship?
No. No, they won't even let you buy it.
Really?
They literally will not even sell it to you if you tell them you're on Disney.
Oh, they don't want to
Okay.
deal with it.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's where when we went on our honeymoon at Grand Cayman was where we got the rum cakes from. I believe.
The rum
Oh,
cakes
yeah.
are okay.
Yeah, no, I know, but I'm
Rum
trying.
cakes you can take back to the ship all day. They won't have a fit about that.
Right,
You can
right.
take them to
It's
your
just
room. You don't even
bottles
have to
of booze.
store them.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't even sell me beer,
Wow.
which I don't understand because I can have beer on the ship in my room.
Right. Huh. Interesting.
So that was very interesting about Grand Cayman.
Something
We
must
walked
have
around, found a couple. I was actually looking for a specific place to buy some cigars because I wanted to buy a box of Cuban cigars, and I actually found the place. La Casa del Habano in Grand Cayman is one of the only authentic Cuban cigar sales places. So we went there. I bought a box and
happened. Nice.
brought them home. We went back to ship. So that night I had actually 2 tastings. We went to. Did we skip dinner Tuesday night? No, we didn't. We skipped dinner. We skipped dinner Sunday night and Monday night because, as you guys know, or as I explained, the dinners the first 3 or 4 nights are all the same. However, they did not have the pirate fare dinner. I will tell you that, Melanie. They did not have the pirate dinner because of the special menu for Star Wars night.
What?
So everything shifted, except they didn't have pirate dinner. Yeah, confusing as heck.
That is odd. I
So-
always thought because they had
Yeah.
Buccaneer Blast and all of that, that they would still have the menu, especially if you're on that ship for 7 nights, you need to switch it up. Okay.
Well, they
good
do,
to
but they're
know.
switching it up because you get Star Wars Day at Sea menu instead on Thursday. So everything moved up a day. So lobster night's normally on Thursday night. It was on Wednesday night. It was Wednesday night. It was our night at Animators for the animation thing.
Where were you on Pirate Night
Um,
again?
Cozumel.
No, which dining room were
Was
you
that
in on
on-
Pirate Night?
Oh, I'm sorry. We were in Animators.
Cool.
So we would have
That-
been in Animate. No. We were
That's
not
the
in
night to
Animators.
be
We
in
were in
Animators.
Enchanted. We would have been in Enchanted that night.
If you're on a cruise that's
'Cause we were-
longer than 3 nights,
We were
Animators is...
RAE. Yeah, we were RAE.
Okay,
So that would have been Enchanted night.
all right.
Monday night was Enchanted night. So Tuesday night we were back in Royal. So I did 2 tastings that night. I did both a bourbon and a whiskey tasting for
Nice.
$20.
Anything good?
And let me tell you, they gave me 4 shots of really good whiskey. Let's see. I finally had Johnny Walker Black.
Really? think
Pretty
I've
much all the other ones are stuff you know. Knob Creek, Jack Daniels for the bourbon. Knob
Okay.
Creek, Jack Daniels. There was one other one that I don't remember the name of. It was an oddball. Oh, and Blanton's. I'd never actually had Blanton's.
I never heard of it.
It's in the ball. It's in the bottle that looks like a ball.
Okay.
It has the horse topper on top of it.
Oh,
That
all
there's a
right.
horse topper for every letter. Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I had that. Then went up and did whiskey tasting in. Or I did. Okay, I got this backwards. I did whiskey tasting before dinner up in Meridian Lounge with Andre, the bartender. Andre gave me a one-on-one whiskey tasting,
Whoa.
just me. charged me the $20, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Went back to the room, we went to dinner. Actually, we went and hung out at the Bon Voyage bar in the Adrianne because our favorite waitress, Bonita, was there. She used to be on the Dream. She's now on the Fantasy.
Ah.
And we got, I had Kentucky Bourbon Barrel Ale in my beer mug, which, I don't know if you had Kentucky Bourbon Barrel Ale.
I have
So
not.
it's ale that's aged Kentucky bourbon barrels, and it imparts a lot of the flavors from the bourbon, so it picks up some of the alcohol as well.
Is that the stuff?
Let's see.
Is that the stuff they had in Epcot when you and I were down there in September, but then they were out of that you wanted me to try?
Yes.
Was that what it was?
Yes.
Oh, damn it. I hope they
Yes.
have it for Flower and Garden for some strange reason then when I'm there in April, because I really, really wanted to try that.
Yeah. And then I did the Malt Club in Meridian before dinner, which was it's called Oban Little Bay whiskey. These are all basically like Scotch whiskeys.
Okay.
Talisker Dark Storm and the Gavulin 16-year.
Wow. Ooh, how was that?
For me to tell you anything about them, I forget. They were all good. I liked all of them.
Okay.
I'll tell you about the next tasting I did in a little bit because it was on a different night. But then we went to the bar in the atrium, Bon Voyage, hung out there for a little bit, went to dinner because this was Tuesday and we did go to dinner Tuesday. So we were back in Royal, and it was the different menu, and I don't have it with me or the picture, but it's the other different menu that they do in Royal. So basically, after the 3 or 4 night rotation of normal dinners that are the signature dinners and the pirate night dinner, every restaurant goes on the same menu. So every restaurant on the boat, with the exception of Paulo and Remy, have the same menu every night. So
Oh, wow.
Tuesday night had a theme. Wednesday night was lobster night. So they added lobster bisque, whole tail lobsters, shrimp, a lot of seafood. Thursday night, everybody had the Star Wars dinner. And then Friday night was another menu that I don't remember. I wish I'd have paid more attention to the menus, but I didn't. So then we went to dinner. And then I went to the Cove Cafe, and Ashley, the bartender, he gave us a bourbon tasting,
Ooh.
which was the Knob Creek, Jack Daniels, Blanton's. There was one other one, and I can't think the name of it. I'll come up with it here in a minute. So, wife decided she was ready to go to bed. I wasn't ready to go to bed, so I went down to the tube, grabbed another double of Knob Creek, and went up to deck 13 and had my Knob Creek with a cigar.
Nice.
That was how I ended my day that night. And that was Tuesday. And I have all the navigators, Melanie. I'm going to scan them just so
Yeah.
I can get them on the website. And of
Cool.
course, for every one of these days, they gave you a really nice port shopping information guide for every port that gave you, of course, the places they wanted you to go. That day for Grand Cayman, of course, it was Diamonds International, Effie Jewelry, Kirk Freeport, Bayshore Mall, Island Jewelers,
Yeah.
Swarovski Boutique, Teraloha. So it's pretty much all the places they wanted you to go because they get a kickback.
Yeah.
Sorry, did I say that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I know. The people they had on the boat to talk about the ports was pretty nice. What was their name? Archie and Oxy. They are apparently the couple that does all of the port event or all the shopping shows in the port on the Fantasy right now. So Wednesday, pretty much more of the same. Typical movies. Now we're up to Star Wars Episode 4, Return of the Jedi, The Force Awakens. They did start having some things like Star Wars 101, so people could, go learn about Star Wars if they hadn't. I don't know why you were on this cruise if you didn't know anything about Star Wars. You probably felt really out of place. Max Winfrey was the comedian that we had that day. Oh, the night before that was the show in the theater was Wishes. So I watched it. We watched it on the TV in the room. We didn't go to the theater. It's pretty cool. It's about some high school kids that all get together and they wish on this penny that this girl's had forever. And it basically whisks them, well, this is while they're running around in Disneyland. And it whisks them away, and they basically go through a whole bunch of storylines from the different movies, and then they whisk her back to the current time, and she gives her valedictorian speech and finds out the guy that was with her all the time liked her, and yeah, typical Disney movie type stuff.
Yeah.
So Wednesday we were at Falmouth, Jamaica. Oh, the previous night we did go to Margaritaville in Grand Cayman. It was okay. They have a pool in the one there, and a water slide. Nobody was in it. But the drinks were a little on the expensive side. We spent basically $23 for a Coke and 2 margaritas that were in a glass that were maybe 8 ounces. I thought it was a little much. But the exchange rate was not good in Grand Cayman either. It was like minus 0.08 to... So it actually meant that every one of our dollars was... We had to spend $1.25 to get 1 Grand Cayman dollar.
Huh.
I say that right. I think that's right. Anyway. Wednesday, we're at Falmouth, Jamaica. Which, if you haven't been to Falmouth lately, you know, they have... The State Department has warnings out about Jamaica. Most of that is about Kingston, because it's really bad in that part of the country. You are safe in the port area. It's all fenced in. If you want to go out into the, I call it the jungle of Falmouth, or the main part of the town where, you know, all the real people live, you actually have to go out through another gate. But the port area is beautiful. Royal Caribbean actually sponsored this rebuild. Do you know, Melanie, when they did that? It's 4 or 5 years ago, I think. Very nice. It's all brick. The streets in it are brick, and lots of little stores, you know, to go buy stuff, including Blue Mountain coffee at $45 a pound, which we didn't buy. My wife did try it. She liked it, but she wasn't willing to spend $45 a pound for it. So we kind of looked around. We went to the Margaritaville there, had a couple margaritas. Some strange guy came up and took pictures of us, and I gave him $20 for the pictures, because I kind of know how it's not a very good economy there, I guess. So I figured I'd help the guy out a little. Who knows? He's probably taking it to buy drugs, but you know.
Yeah.
So we looked around there. Sean bought some shirts at Margaritaville because she wanted a shirt from each place. The other thing we were doing is friends of ours that have a brewery here over in Illinois that they just started last year. We have their Golden Fox Brewery shirts, so we were getting that picture taken in front of every one of the port's signs, so that we could send back to them and say, hey, we were representing the brewery. So
Nice.
They'll get a kick out of that one when I finally get the pictures downloaded and sent to them. Pretty much the same stuff going on that day on the ship. Lots of movies, lots of swimming. I will tell you the boat is pretty empty when we're in port. There's a few people at the adult pool, but I wouldn't say it's crowded. Till about 4 o'clock when everybody comes back from the island, then it starts getting crowded again. That night was the comedy of Max Winfrey in the Disney Theater, so we didn't actually have a musical show that night. They were doing things that day like Villains Quotes Trivia, more tastings all over the boat. There was a mixology class twice every day on that boat. But I didn't get signed up. Well, we were signed up for one Tuesday, but sadly the tender boat didn't get us back to the boat in time, and we missed our mixology class. That was very sad. Luckily, they didn't charge us for missing it since the tender boat didn't get us back in time. The jackpot bingo that day was $10,000
Wow.
on
Nice.
Wednesday. Yeah. Finding Nemo, Finding Dory on Funnel Vision, Star Wars 101 again. They showed Coco in the Buena Vista Theater and Force Awakens in the Buena Vista Theater. Now, this is, of course, all leading up to Star Wars Day, because this is Wednesday. Star Wars Day is Thursday. So what they do the night before Star Wars Day, after second dinner at 10:15 in the atrium, they have stormtroopers and Darth Vader basically come out on the balcony there in the atrium and take over the ship.
Oh, yeah?
Now, I thought it was cool. Stormtroopers come out and say something, and then Darth Vader comes out and says something that they're looking for a spy. So the stormtroopers take off, and they go pull this random guy out of the crowd, and then they don't tell anybody what they're going to do with him, but they haul him off someplace. Which I thought was very odd. But,
It's a little frightening.
you know, that's really frightening. You just get plucked out of a crowd by a stormtrooper, and
Was
oh,
it
crap,
really
what
a
did I
guest
do?
or was it a crew member in
It looked
disguise?
like a guest. He was over talking to a family, at least as far as I could see, and
Mhm.
they pulled him away. And and on Thursday I saw the Empire officers doing the same thing. So I'll tell you about that in a minute. But on Thursday they were doing some pretty weird stuff. So that was pretty much Wednesday night. More of the same, more drinking and debauchery, you know.
Nice. Drinking and debauchery.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you in a minute. So, on to Thursday for Star Wars Day at Sea. We get up, do my normal routine, down to the Cove Cafe to get tea, sitting there drinking tea, and the cruise director, Trent, walks in, sits down next to me with his assistant, and I had noticed that they all had different things on their shoulder bars. So they all have bars that basically represent their rank and all that stuff. But above that, they have a little icon. So for Trent, it's the comedy and tragedy masks, which means he's in the entertainment part of the ship. For food, they actually have a fish and something else. So they're part of the galley staff. They have, if they have just a coin icon, they're part of the hotel staff. So that's the hosts and hostesses for your rooms. That's the all the hotel operations people. So guest services and the children's services and all that stuff. The kids area is. They actually have the biggest crew on the ship. They're close to 1,200 people. Trent's crew has 160 people under his staff, and the only group bigger than him besides the hotel staff was the bar staff. So I just found it interesting that they all had these different icons on their shoulders indicating what department they worked in on the ship. And this is on their basic white uniforms that they wear around the ship all the time. So I found that interesting. He did let me know that a couple of the cruise directors quit, left the company. A couple of them have gone. Natalie, for example, and Clayton have both gone back to the office, and they're actually helping out with getting the entertainment prepared for the new ships already.
Okay, because Clayton was on the Magic over the summer. So.
Yeah, he's actually in the office now.
Because he's the executive cruise director. He's like the lead one.
Right, he's like the big shot. Yeah,
exactly. And I've sailed with him twice. He's amazing. Oh. He earned it.
Oh, we've done a couple times. Yeah, he's pretty cool.
Yeah, Christian is gone. He was our cruise director in Alaska way back when.
Christian left.
He left. So Clayton and some of the others are designing for the new ships now. Or designing entertainment.
Rachel left.
Okay.
Yeah, Rachel left. I don't remember Rachel.
Mm-hmm.
But Natalie and Clayton both have gone to the crew for the new ships to start the entertainment process. So, yeah. So that planning has already started.
Oh, yeah.
What's that, RJ?
No, look how fancy you guys are. You know all these cruise people and where they're going.
We know people.
Curly.
We know people.
Look at you, he's all fancy.
So Thursday was a pretty busy day for me, not necessarily for my wife, because, you know, Star Wars Day at Sea was mostly for me, not for her. Though she did tag along, and she was a good trooper, and you know, went along and supported me in my endeavors that day. I did go to the 9:45 session with Jennifer Coronado, who's actually the manager for Industrial Light and Magic in California.
Okay.
Her presentation was way cool because she had videos and pictures of how they did things in the old way, where they built all the models and they flew them on strings and had cameras attached to the models in front of a green screen, to how they do things today with all the CG stuff they do, which was pretty cool. She showed a picture of Lucas's first basically filming room where they reviewed what they had filmed.
Right.
And it was literally this room in an old house. They had gotten 3 couches that were left on the street someplace and put in this room, and a 16mm projector sitting on a file cabinet at the back of the room, shining on a white wall.
Right. Wow.
So that I found that pretty interesting. I got to be the bad guy because she did a question and answer session, and there were a lot of good questions. I mean, one guy asked her, "Hey, so did you guys do the effects for Predator?" She's like, "No, but we would have done it better." And I believe that. But I got to be the bad guy, and I kind of snuck my hand up, and she called on me, and I said, "So, did the Solo trailer drop Monday night, since, you know, we've all been on a boat, and apparently we didn't get commercials for Super Bowl?" She's like, "Yes." I said, "Did you by chance bring that trailer with you?" "No." And she said, "I'm so sorry, because had I known they weren't going to show the commercials on the boat," she said, "I would have gotten special permission to bring that trailer with me so you guys could have seen it."
Oh, wow. That's cool.
And everybody moaned.
Yeah.
So I had to wait like everybody else did until we got off the boat Saturday.
Oh, I bet you there was people that paid for that data plan to see it.
Oh, not me.
No, I know, not you.
Try and stream that data plan. It's horrible. Yeah,
Well, I'm
streaming
sure it
data
is.
over satellite is horrible. So all day that day they had, every couple hours they had stormtroopers running around up on the pool deck. They had a guy dressed up like Kylo Ren. And I'll tell you about my thoughts on Star Wars Day in a minute here, but let's see, what else did we have? They were showing Last Jedi all day. They had character greetings with Darth Vader, Chewbacca, R2-D2, C-3PO together. They pretty much did that one all week. So they had Darth Vader in the tube up on the stage, where they had a special backdrop that looked like the deck of the Star Destroyer.
Nice.
And you're looking out at the Death Star. And then in Animator's Palette, they had R2-C3PO, and then they had Chewbacca. And we went and got pictures with all of them. In the atrium of the ship, they had Han Solo and Carbonite that you could get pictures with. And then they had the Star Wars Day at Sea logo that you could get pictures with. They had a few people from the 501st running around, so the crazy looking, kind of like, I don't know what you call the creature that had the big battle axes and Jabba Hutt's
Oh, okay, yeah. The
castle.
oh god,
It looks
Gamorrean.
like hog.
Yeah, they're
Gamorrean.
Gamorrean guards. Yep.
Yeah. So they had one of the 501st guys running around as him. They had a couple guys running around that were basically Imperial officers, and they were running around the ship, basically grabbing, talking to people, and then they say, "You're a spy. Come with us." And they haul them up the midship lift all the way to deck 12, leave them there, get back on the elevator, and take off. Because I had friends they did that too. They had BB-8 racing, so they did that in the lobby. That was pretty cool. They actually had the remote control BB-8s that you could actually race.
It's the bigger ones, though,
they
not
had
the
the,
little tiny ones, right?
Right, it's the bigger ones. These are like 1.5 feet tall. These aren't like the little ones like you get.
It's not the
control
little.
of your phone, no.
It's not the little sphero ones. It's the other ones. Yeah.
Right, it's the bigger version. They did have in the Walt Disney Theater. They basically had the Jedi. Oh, what do I call it? The like they do in the park.
Oh, the training.
Jedi Training Academy.
Training Academy.
Jedi Training Academy, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So they did that in like 4 different sessions. You could go in and watch, but you had to have a ticket if you were participating. And they weren't allowing adults to participate.
They, of course not.
Otherwise, I would have.
They don't. They don't in the park either.
I really, that day, really wanted to be in the Oceaneer Club because they did Star Wars animation cells. They actually built a couple BB-8s and a couple R2-D2 robots. They did a really cool stuff in the kids area that day that I think would have been fun. And they organized the flash mob. So they all showed up, and I'll spoil this already for you. Friday night, they all show up in the lobby, and one kid starts dancing in the middle of the atrium, and then it's 5 kids, and then it's 10 kids, and then it's like 30 kids all dancing this song. It was pretty cool. Dinner had a special menu for Star Wars. I have pictures of those. I tried to swipe one of the menus, but man, they're really tight with those menus. They cost them $60 to make every one of these menus.
Oh, wow.
They're basically like a 3D hologram. You remember those postcards you used to get that when you shifted them, they looked differently?
Yeah, the lenticular, they call it.
That's what this menu looked like. It was way cool.
Nice.
And the food was really good that night. So it was kind of a prefix menu. You got this particular thing for an appetizer, a particular thing for a salad, but then you got to choose from they had like 16 different entrees on there.
Wow.
I ended up with the chicken pasta that night, which was pretty tasty. We did have table mates. We had 2 sisters that were sitting with us that they only showed up 3 nights. And then another couple that they were with us, and they were there every night, even though we weren't there every night. So that was pretty cool. We didn't have to sit by ourselves, at least. This gets me to the Star Wars Summon the Force on Deck Stage 11. Or Deck 11 stage. Horrible. I have to say, the show was horrible. So I'm going to equate it to the Pirates thing, which on the Fantasy and the Dream, they do Jack Sparrow. It actually has a story because they're all after the gauntlet that he has, right? And at least it has a theme and a story. This had absolutely no theme and no story after they spent 4 times getting it to run. It was supposed to start at 10:15. It didn't. And we were standing basically right in front of the control room on the aft funnel. And at 10:16, I look back and I see 4 guys running back and forth at their console in that room, trying to figure out why the thing's not running. So we saw the video stop because they always had this loop of Star Wars Day at Sea with ships flying past the logo, and it stopped briefly. So that I expected was the second time they tried. The third time they tried, they actually got the music to fire, but then somebody apparently forgot to cue the actors. Because we got to a point in it where an actor was supposed to be on stage and it didn't happen. And finally, the 4th time, they restarted it and we got it going. But again, no storyline. I was very disappointed with it. Good characters. They had Chewbacca, they had R2-D2 and C-3PO, they had Kylo Ren and Rey, they had Darth Vader and some stormtroopers. Kylo Ren actually came out with First Order stormtroopers, which I hadn't seen roaming the ship anywhere that day. But then my other complaint was Commodore Tom didn't stop the boat. So when they shot the fireworks off the starboard side of the boat, the fireworks were going up, and when they exploded, they're already back at the aft funnel when they exploded.
Oh,
So half
wow.
the people on the boat couldn't even see the fireworks.
Oh, that sucks.
So, not good. I would have to say, they sent me a survey today, and I obliterated the survey. I just basically said, need to work on this, guys. There weren't enough roaming. In my opinion, there weren't enough roaming characters on the boat. There should have been characters roaming on deck 3, deck 4, deck 5, deck 11, deck 12, all the time. And they didn't have that. And they needed to have some of the more popular characters roaming. Ray was nowhere on the ship during the day.
Wow.
So there was no photo opportunity with Ray.
Oh, yeah, that's a fail.
Nobody dressed up as Finn, even though they had pretty much had like at least 30 guys I counted on the crew that could have passed as Finn.
Really? No Poe either?
Nobody dressed up as Poe.
Wow, those are main
No
characters.
BB-8.
Those are main
Yeah, no
characters.
kidding.
No BB-8
from the
crying
new
out loud.
story. From the new story, they should be plugging those characters.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, think about a
And
little
then how
kid
about
that the
characters-
first Star Wars movie they ever saw was The Force Awakens. They probably only care about
Exactly.
Finn and Rey.
Right.
Exactly. They don't care about Darth Vader and
No, and the old
Luke
characters.
Skywalker,
No,
who
not
was
at all.
either. And then nobody from episode 1, 2, or 3.
Not even Darth Maul. He's usually everywhere. Wow, that's
There was
strange.
a Darth Maul on the boat, but it was a guest, and his costume was pretty amazing. I will tell you, there was a couple dressed up as Jabba and Slave Leia. They were
man.
guests, but he had this blow up costume that looked like Jabba the Hutt, and dragging her bound by a chain to her neck.
Oh wow.
And I was shocked that they let her do that on a Disney cruise.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's probably only because it was Star Wars Day.
So anyway, that's my take on the Star Wars Day at Sea. I would have to give it a C- at best.
Wow. Okay. Good to know.
So before you wrap up and head over to Castaway Key Day, what do you think about the fact that next year they've cut it down to 9? Do you think it'll be a better 9 cruises versus what is it, like 16 this year
No,
that they're doing? Or
no,
do you think?
I don't think it'll be better, because I had friends that went the first year and they had the same complaints: lack of characters, lack of
Mhm.
story, and the fireworks show. So obviously they're either dumb or they're not listening to.
Or do you think that they're reducing
yes.
because people aren't
Comment.
so thrilled with it?
I don't know why they would do that. I mean, the deck was full of people to watch that fireworks show Thursday night. And the lines were long for all of the character greetings. I mean, they had 5 days worth of character greetings with Darth Vader, Chewbacca, C-3PO, and R2-D2. And they were packed every hour. I mean, they started at 8:30 in the morning and they went until 6 o'clock at night. Solid. And I don't know that I ever went by there and didn't see a line in any of those rooms. So,
Wow.
I know there are people that booked this cruise and didn't really care about the Star Wars thing, because I talked to some of them. But most of the people on the boat booked the cruise because of that. I booked it because of that. Because I wanted to experience it as a travel agent. I wanted to be able to talk about it. And at this point, for the money, for a person spending their own hard-earned cash to go on a cruise, I will tell them to save their money and go on a normal Disney cruise. Unless they're just that adamant about going on that cruise. Because I don't think the added fee for it was worth it.
Wow. Interesting.
Just my 2 cents.
Well, I'd like to think if that was a popular opinion that they would try to do something about it, or maybe they wouldn't because they don't care because people are going to go on it anyway. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's probably a case of the latter. People are going to go on it anyway, so
Right.
they're not going to change that.
Kind of like the hard ticket
look
and
at ticket
stuff and
prices.
things in the parks.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I'll
was just
keep
going to say, yeah.
we all keep complaining about ticket prices, but yet they raised ticket prices again yesterday beyond what inflation was.
And people will still buy.
I get it.
Yeah.
If you raise it to 3% inflation, I get it. But $10 to $15, they raised the. It's really for another show, but they raised the Disneyland passport. You probably know this, Jessica. They raised your passport ticket by $200, right?
Yeah, 17.7% for the Disneyland Signature Annual Pass. And the deluxe
that's the
one
one
too.
that I have, the Signature.
And did
And
they get
got
rid of
your
the renewal discount?
too, right?
Yeah, I used to get $50
Exactly.
off for a renewal, which, you know, considering the price of the pass isn't a ton, but it makes a big difference.
No, but it was better than nothing.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically half of a one-day hopper if you think about it that way, so it's kind of like an extra day. And now that's gone too.
Yeah. Yeah, we can chat about that next
I'm
week.
beginning
Yeah,
to think,
I mean, that's a whole nother thing, but
yeah, but back to the cruise, I think they care about the stockholders more than they do the guests that are coming on the ship. I honestly believe that.
Right. Huh. That's a shame.
Anyway, moving along. Nothing to see here. Thursday night I did another tasting. It was basically all Scotch. It was, hold on, let me get my phone. Because it was after all the Star Wars stuff was over with. I went back to the Meridian Lounge, but now I can't seem to find the picture. So I'll have to tell you later. But basically it was Glenlivet Scotch, or Glenmorangie Scotch. It was a 12-year, a 14-year, and a 20-year. So if you understand how scotches are made, and you may know this, RJ, if you're buying a 12-year, that means the whiskey in the bottle, the youngest age is 12 years.
Right.
There may be 20-year scotch in there. There may be 15-year scotch in there, but the youngest age is 12.
It's 12, right.
So if you're getting a 20-year scotch, the youngest age is 20 years.
It could
And
be
there
a
might be
whole
scotches
lot older.
in there that are 25 or 30 or 35 years.
Yep.
So, needless to say, very smooth, very good flavors. I really enjoyed the Scotch tasting.
And that's why the prices go up like ridiculous as you get higher up in the age.
Yeah. So, I'll tell you another thing I learned on the boat in the my friend Benita in the Bon Voyage Lounge told me about this. She says, why are you ordering singles when you can get a double for half as much more? And they get a little heavy weighted with the jigger when they pour that second ounce. So if you order 1 ounce, or if you order a single shot, let's say it's $8, a double shot might only be 11.
Really? Interesting.
So it's not double the price on the cruise. And they usually get heavy-handed with the bottle. And when they're pouring the second shot, they'll let the bottle waver for just a little while and give you a little extra. So you really end up with 2.5.
Yeah, it's spilling over the side of the thing.
I watched that, and I'm like, man, that saved me a ton of money, even though my bar bill was still $900.
Nice.
Well done. A lot of drinking on this boat.
That's
anyway,
what it's there for.
Friday. Enough complaining about Star Wars and enough about my alcoholic tendencies. Friday was Castaway Key Day, which is usually my favorite day. And don't get me wrong, I still enjoy the island. So I got up, did my normal routine that morning, and we still weren't docked yet at 7:30. Usually we're there by 6:30, and we're going ashore by 8. They cleared the ship finally at 8:15, and Sean and I actually were one of the first people off the boat in front of the 5K runners because they held them at deck 2. We took the elevator down to deck 1, so we got fortunate. So we were actually one of the first few people back to Serenity Bay. We always go back to Serenity Bay because it's quiet. And when they start serving lunch back there, I like the lunch back there better because they have what I consider more adult food. Cookies and cookies too, great for families. You know, they have cheeseburgers, they have hot dogs, they have ribs, they have potato salad, coleslaw, stuff like that. But back at the Serenity Bay barbecue place, they actually have cheeseburgers, hot dogs, bratwurst, ribeye, mahi-mahi, quarter chickens. I'm missing something.
Wow.
Ribs, and then a multitude of different salads. So they had palm salad. I don't know if you ever had palm salad, but it's actually pretty tasty. It's made from a part of the palm nut that comes off the palm tree, from what I understand. They have coleslaw, German potato salad, hot potato salad. They have an entire fruit bar, and that's where I usually go because I like to destroy the mango because I can't get good mangoes here at home. So I wait till I go on a Disney cruise and I gorge myself on mango because I love it. So we hung out at the Serenity Beach, and it's getting really bad because if you've been to Serenity Bay, there's no, unlike the Family Beach, there's no barrier wall out there. They built a barrier wall at the Family Beach of rocks. So it's kind of protected from the waves and some of the storm surge when storms come in.
Yep.
Serenity Bay just continues to keep eroding. So they typically have, and you probably remember this, Melanie, they have 2 rows of chairs all the way down that beach. One's up higher, one's down lower. Well, one's lower are actually sitting at like a 45-degree angle because that's where the erosion starts.
Mm.
Really tough to sit in those chairs when they sit at a 45-degre angle. So
I usually bring the chair down to the water.
Yeah, that's what we do too. But I heard more than one person complain about. Well, I heard more than one person complain about it because they actually still have umbrellas over some of those chairs, and they're like, "This is kind of pointless."
Right.
And I would tend to agree.
I usually split my time between there and the Family Beach because we still have kids. But yeah, I can see why that would be a nuisance, especially why bother putting the umbrellas there.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it's.
So we hung out there and had our conch coolers because I got to have a couple conch coolers on the boat on the island. Which the conch coolers are 2 different types of rum: a light rum, a dark rum. It's like a banana slurry mix. And coconut and something else. Can't remember, but delicious drink. And then they usually put a shot of Bacardi or dark rum on top of it when they finish it. So, but it's a frozen drink and very tasty. Typical movies on the boat that day: Robin Hood, Bolt, Frozen. God, Frozen. Fantasia 2000, The Emperor's New Groove, Inside Out, The Jungle Book classic, The Good Dinosaur, and something called Bedtime Stories, which I'm not sure what. I think that's just a collaboration of a bunch of stuff.
No, it's Adam Sandler movie. It's Adam Sandler movie.
Oh, that movie. Okay.
Yeah, where he's like babysitting his nephew or something like that, and he
tells stories.
Yeah,
tells stories, but then they come true, or like he goes to each one. Yeah. It's pretty. I didn't see all of it, but it was pretty good.
We spent until about 1:30, 2 o'clock on the island. I started my way back to the ship. Sean was going to stay at the beach for just another half an hour. She actually beat me back to the ship because she used the tram and I walked. I walked mostly because I wanted to get some different pictures of the island that I haven't gotten before. So I had my selfie stick with me and I got some pictures of some stuff. Back on the ship that night, we were in Enchanted Garden for dinner. They had the See You Real Soon thing in the lobby atrium, which is basically a, hey, we're glad you came, but hey, tomorrow you gotta get off my boat.
Yeah.
Disney's Believe was in the Walt Disney Theater that night. We did not go because we have seen that one before. It's basically about a daughter and her dad, and they go through a bunch of, kind of like the other one, they go through a bunch of different scenes and different movies. Don't get me wrong, love all the shows, but watching them over and over after every cruise we've been on, it gets a little old. So, what am I missing? Oh, and I had a rum tasting that night.
Ooh.
One of them I had was a Zaya 12-year rum. I had Appleton Premium or Signature Blend.
Oh, nice.
And I had a Flor de Cana rum as the last one, which I'd never heard of.
Yes.
But it's very sweet.
Very sweet, yeah.
Very alcoholic.
Yeah.
That was really good. So, and that was another one with Andre. So, I have to say, three best bartenders. Yeah, okay, I'll say four best bartenders on the ship we had. I'm gonna get his name wrong. He says it's Bang Bang, but it looks like it says Bum Bang to me. He's from India. He was running the Cove Cafe. Kevin was his helper, and Kevin had only been in bar service for a week. The week previous to that, he was backstage, basically washing glasses, cleaning things up. Benita, who is the one that we've known we've been on several cruises with, that used to be on the Dream. She is outstanding, and Kevin was down helping her in the evening. And then Andre, who ran the Meridian Bar the whole cruise, just outstanding folks. And then as an aside, Ashley, he was a very good, knowledgeable person about whiskey or bourbons for the bourbon tasting I had in the Cove. So those were all good times. If you go on a cruise, I recommend taking time out to go try one of the tastings. They have lots of different tastings, anything from tequila to rum to whiskey to bourbon. They had a cognac tasting, which I kind of fell away from the cognacs because some of them taste like you're drinking gasoline. So I kind of steer away from that one. But they have a wine and chocolate tasting. They have martini tasting. They have mixology. They have champagne tasting, obviously, in Ooh La La, which I hardly ever saw anybody in that place the whole cruise. I'd have to say that's probably, in my opinion, the biggest waste of space on the ship is Ooh La La. I hardly ever see anybody in that place.
But it's a great place for tastings.
It is, yeah, because we've been in there too.
Right. And the
I won't tell
tastings
you
are all
about the
very well
wine
paced.
tasting I went to from there. Oh yeah, they paste them very well. I mean,
So you don't leave sloshy drunk.
When we did yeah, no. I mean, it's an ounce of wine or 2 ounces of wine and an ounce of liquor in these tastings. Now, unless you're doing mixology, you end up with 5 drinks in mixology.
It's
Tequila
usually
tasting,
5,
you're gonna taste. Yeah, tequila tasting, you're gonna taste 3 different tequilas, and you're probably gonna end up with a margarita, just as a explanation as to why they put tequila in a margarita. I'm gonna miss them. So
there was a sipping
overall,
tequila too.
Yeah, that's usually the Patron stuff.
Yeah.
Patron Silver, Patron Añejo, and Patron Cafe, because those are all very good sipping tequilas. And then there's Don Julio 1842, which is in a really tall bottle, and I'll never drink again. So overall, I thought the cruise was good. I've already answered the survey to DCL. One of the complaints I put was that, the adult stuff late at night is almost non-existent. So one night they might have Match Your Mate and 80s music trivia. And then at 11:30 or 11:15, when that's all over with, there's a DJ. But nobody stays for the DJ anymore because they used to have people from the theater come down and do these little dance numbers to help get people in the mood and kind of hang around. And they'd hang around and dance with the people in the crowd and keep the place going until 1 or 1:30, when they would just kind of disappear.
Kind of like on Dirty Dancing.
And everybody still hung around. Yeah, kind of. And it just frustrates me that, we've been on so many cruises, and that was one of the things we enjoyed, and nobody stays in there after the shows are over with anymore. It's kind of become a bunch of fuddy-duddies. I don't know. Just my opinion. But other than that, I mean, I'd give the...
too. Because my last cruise, we had a bunch of night owls on my last cruise. I was out of those places before them.
Yeah, but your last cruise, you were traveling with all those travel agents.
No. It was the 4th of July on the Dream. It was the 5-night double dip.
You're not talking about Econ.
No.
Oh, okay.
Not the big conference. Those people can out Disney me any day. I met my match sometimes, but no, it was the 5-night double dip.
Okay.
And there are some night owls on that one. Maybe it was the summer crowd. I don't know. But I've been on cruises where it seems like that too.
Maybe it's
And
just there were that many more families on this cruise. I don't know.
the Fantasy is a 7-night though, and it's got a more laid back vibe than the Dream does. So
Yeah, I think I need to do another 4 to compare.
yeah, exactly, for reals. research. I think it's just a more laid back vibe on the Fantasy. That the Dream, it's just more kind of has a go. Let's have some fun kind of thing. Yeah. Each ship has her own vibe. It's all good.
So, I mean, overall, I like the cruise. Sean liked the cruise. I'd give the overall cruise probably a B+. There's some things that just I couldn't give it an A on. I will note that I did experience a family not getting let on the ship on Saturday because they came to port with the flu, and somebody caught wind of it and basically said, if you're sick, you can't go on this cruise. Luckily, they had bought travel insurance.
Good.
Hint, hint. If you're taking a cruise, buy travel insurance. You never know what's going to happen.
Well, that's for sure.
It's not that much more money. I'm disappointed in DVC in the fact that they don't do some of their giveaways at the members meeting on the day we get on the ship. Usually they give hats out to everybody. Now you have to go up to the desk and get them, which means some people are going to forget. So they're obviously saving money. Exactly. I do appreciate that they converted their lanyards to the new nice silk lanyards instead of the itchy scratchy lanyards they used to have.
Itchy scratchy.
But they used to have giveaways. They were going to make me go to a open sales presentation in order to get the Star Wars Day at Sea Disney pin. I'm like, I'm not doing that. You guys should have given that away at the day when all the members go. For crying out loud, we've already paid in. We're already sold on this product. Give us a pin. So, needless to say, I didn't get one. And I'm kind of bummed about that, but I'll get over it. Other than that, it was a good cruise. We got off the boat Saturday and lifted back over to the dealership, picked up our car, and headed north to the Great White Tundra. Luckily, we got home. There wasn't any snow here, but north of here, there's lots of snow. But that's about all I got.
Very good. Jam-packed, that's for sure.
Comments?
No.
Yeah, I mean, 7-day it gets really busy. There's lots to do. I probably only scratched the surface. I probably didn't go into everything we did. And, I don't want to bore you the details with everything we ate and everything we drank. And
Right. No, all those tastings
everything I might have smoked
are crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the dinners. I will say the funny thing, on Sunday for the Super Bowl, they did have an interesting menu at Tomaters. They had clam chowder and Philly cheesesteak sandwiches.
Well, it makes sense for the two teams that were involved.
Really, yeah. So that was pretty cool. So that was basically our dinner that night because we didn't go to dinner. We stayed up on deck and watched the game. So
nice. Yeah, jam-packed, man. You got a lot of... It's like you were there with children, but you were the child.
Yeah.
With all this stuff.
Exactly.
With all the stuff you did. That's good, though. I'm glad to hear that because, I mean, the only cruise I've ever been on, I've said it on here a million times, was just our honeymoon 16 years ago. So it's a world's difference now from then. There's 4 more ships and a hell of a lot more to do on board. So I assume the next time that my family goes, it's going to be with our children, which is fine. Because I'm excited for them to experience it, and I know my wife and I would love to get back on board of ship as well. So I'm glad to hear of all the different offerings besides your normal cruise stuff.
Yeah.
So cool, very good. Well, thank you, Mr. Milford. I appreciate that. I hope all the listeners enjoyed that. We were going to also get into, as he had mentioned, about seeing the solo trailer and stuff like that, but we've run a bit long with this one, so we will save that for most likely next week. I know it's something that Adrianne would probably enjoy speaking about with us as well, so we'll definitely dive into that and give you our thoughts and opinions and the like. So for this week, that'll do it. We thank you all for listening. We'll talk to you next time. Follow our troupe at www.dizexplorers.com, where you can find all the links for all our hosts' social media accounts. You can also follow the podcast on our Facebook group at The Diz Explorers and on Twitter and Instagram at The Diz Explorers. You can download this podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Podbean, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher Radio, and also on YouTube. Thanks for listening.
Hope you had a good time. So long from Jiminy Cricket and Spectro Magic.